Welcome again to the S.E.M podcast. I am your host today, Zach Hewlett. Jack Bryce may be along a little bit later, but we're super excited for this episode where we get the opportunity to talk with the famous Michele Menini. And we're also really excited that we have a guest host today, Mr. Andre Zinkovski. How are you guys doing?
Great, excellent.
Good.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking.
What time is it for you right now?
As we're recording this, it's just after 10 a.m.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I know you guys are at the end of your day. My day just kind of started, and that's okay.
The sun is setting right now.
I'm sure. I'm sure it is. Well, good. Well, Michele, we're going to do a little bit of a special piece today. So before we get into the missionary stuff, Michele has a really unique opportunity where he works, where he's going to walk us through the Rome, Italy temple grounds and show us that. So those of you that are listening, I highly recommend that you log in and look at the YouTube video of this to get the picture. But Michele is going to do that first, and then we'll go through the mission. So Michele, I'll turn the time over to you.
Yes. So as you mentioned, I work at the Rome Temple as a ground supervisor or head gardeners. We are 8 gardeners here, and I'm very proud and I really love my job. I'm so proud that I want to share some of it with you. This is my office, as you can see, and now I'll try to connect with my phone, and we can have a little walk around and show you. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, just unmute the phone and then show the picture.
All right, and
now I can hear you. There you go. Perfect.
Let's see if I can turn the camera. Yeah, so this is my maintenance building where we keep all the tools and all the tractors and everything. This is our tree nursery, which is kind of empty right now, but in a few days it's going to be full of new flowers and plants. And so this is a little walkway that leads to the main part. So as you might know, our temple is built on 60,000 square meters of land. So it's not very small. It's quite a big park. And we've got right now coming up, this is the patron housing building that you can see right now.
Michele, is there an MTC in Rome just like there is in Preston?
No, there is not. We don't have enough space, but we do.
Okay, I was just curious.
We do have this. This here is the visitor center. So let's start by having a walk through the visitor center. Sorry if it's a bit shaky. But
it's okay. It looks like it was a beautiful day today.
You can see the temple over there. Yes, it was quite warm. I was actually off today. I was at my home doing some work over there. I was pruning my olive trees.
I love that.
Here we go. So you can see here, this is a special feature. It's a artistic glass mosaic that it's about all the parables of the New Testament. Got the sisters. And right here, of course, we got the statue of the Christus. And behind, you can see all the 12 apostles.
Wow.
I'm sorry, not a good cameraman. Inside this building, we have another small building, a little house, a little Italian house with everything. Missionaries can come here and have teachings. So let's go outside on the temple square. And that's it. We've got this fountain that runs through from the top to the bottom here. This is the chapel or the steakhouse. This is one of the corner of Temple Square. We've got these olive trees, which I just pruned last week. So you see they're not very full. So this is the visitor center again. That's the patron housing. And here we go towards the temple.
Wow.
So we got these waterfalls. Some palm trees. Okay, we are at the top here. And of course, you've got the writing, Italian. We got Angel Moroni up there, way up there. Let's have a walk around the temple. Let me tell you a fun fact. You can see those big pine trees. They were here before the temple was here. They are original from the place. So before the temple was built, right here, there was old building, an old house of the missionaries. The missionaries were living there, and actually, my brother served a mission, and he lived there. And I went after my mission before they started to build this temple, and I was able to walk in this old house. And so it was owned by the church since I think the 60s, I think. And they turned it in the temple. You can see the lawns. This is the other entrance. It's this entrance is reserved for a youth for baptism. What do you think about the lawn? Is it green, like Scottish?
It's beautiful.
I love my job.
It's
So
amazing.
you can see the temple
Unbelievable.
has got this peculiar shape. It's kind of rounded at the sides. This is a special design that the designers have used to resemble, I guess, the Colosseum in Rome. We've got all this beautiful artwork. So that's it. We got this feature here, all these edge rows which are kind of crossing each other. So next month we are changing all the seasonals, all the flowers. We're gonna change about 60,000 of them. So it's quite a big job. This is the apartment of the temple president. This is another of the olive trees. Another fun fact about these olive trees. Once upon a time where nothing was here but this old house that I was talking about earlier, they had this kind of orchard with these olive trees. And when they started to construct the temple, they took them out. They brought them to a tree nursery. They would take care of them during the construction time. And once the temple was almost done, they brought them back and they planted back them here. So in October, once the olives are ripe and good, we harvest them, we collect them, we take them to a place where they crush them and they make olive trees, so that we make all our temple olive trees, that we use olive oil, that we use inside the temple. So that's it.
That's really cool.
I'm sorry. I would have liked to show a little bit better, but maybe the sunset, the light is not good.
I don't think it matters as much, Michele. It's beautiful.
So a little shout to anybody who's watching. If anybody ever comes here at the Rome temple, please let me know so I can show you around. I can be a host as you are right now.
A personal guide. That sounds amazing. What an invitation.
Here we are again. Okay, let me put down the phone and grab back the computer. And through the magic of the internet, I'm here. I'm back.
That was incredible. Thank you so much for sharing. What a beautiful, beautiful place. I want to come already. Like when can I sign up? Because that sounds amazing.
Right now, whenever you're ready, you can come and stay. It's actually the patron housing. It's for free. You don't have to pay anything. You just have to book in advance and stay
Really?
there. Yeah,
that's amazing.
There's a lot to see here in Rome, and actually all Italy. It's quite nice. Every region has got its features. But whenever you want, you can come.
Oh man, it's definitely on my bucket list. Let's say that. Along with, I'm sure, many of us that are listening. So I appreciate that. All right. So Michele, to get back into the format of the podcast, talk to us about your decision to serve and your reaction of going to Scotland. Then we'll go over the mission and talk about what life has been like since you've been home. And then we'll go back through the mission. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Well, I was born in the church. My parents raised me up, teaching me about this possibility to serve a full-time mission. I wasn't really convinced growing up, but at the time I was 19. Here in Italy there was this obligatory service in the army,
I don't know if you have kind of the same over there, but you have to go. So I made a deal with my Heavenly Father. I said, okay, if you let me uh, if you let me not go to serve the military service, I will go on a mission. And
Wow.
once when the time arrived, I went to the army to present myself, and they said, "No, you're not good to serve here because you're too skinny. You're not good, so you can go home." And so I knew then that okay, I escaped this, but I have now I oblige myself to go on a mission. So after a few months, I started to fill in the papers and I sent them, and I just waited. So they arrived. Uh, I remember actually when I opened them. So I was at the seaside with some of my friends for a vacation, enjoying my time there, having some fun. And when I arrived back home one evening, it was quite late. I think it was 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that. My mother opened the door for me, and she told me, "Okay, on your bed, lying on your bed, there is a big envelope, a big white envelope. I think it's the mission calling." So I said, "All right." I could not wait. I opened it. Then I was alone in my bedroom, nobody there. I read it, and I saw the writing outline Edinburgh Mission, and I was thrilled. I wished that I could serve in a foreign country because I wanted to explore and broaden my horizons. And so the Lord has heard my prayer, and I was so happy to read that. I didn't know much about Scotland, but I sure fell in love with it. So
Yeah.
this is the story of that mission.
So, timeline wise, when did you end up entering the MTC?
So I left home in I think November of 2003.
Okay.
I think my first day, the day I left was the 13th of November or the 15th of November, something like that. I
Okay.
arrived at the MTC in Preston. I think that whoever decided that I was serving on in Scotland and they sent me to Preston, they thought this guy must know English already because back then when you fill the papers you have to write the last year your point your vote, I guess,
Hmm.
your last year of school, and I said and I wrote I had 10/10, which was the maximum. It wasn't really difficult to get this vote, but I wrote that. So I think that they thought, okay, this guy doesn't need to learn English. Let's send him right to Preston. And I was, as Andre told on his interview, it was quite a shock for me because I landed on Heathrow, I think, in London, and I could not speak. I was just going around in this huge airport with my ticket like this, showing everybody. And I found some guy that was kind enough to point me in the right direction, so I was able to catch my plane to Preston. I arrived in Preston. It was very late at night. There was nobody there at the airport. I was standing there without my name tag because nobody sent me my name tag. I traveled without name tag. I had my guitar because I decided to bring my guitar, and I was waiting there. I waited, I think, 1 or 2 hours, and I said, okay, nobody is coming for me. They just forgot me. And then I saw far away an elderly elder with the name tag. I waved to him. It's me, it's me, it's me. I said something like this, and he was surprised because he didn't have a name tag. I had my guitar with me, so he told me that he thought I was just a normal guy. But I said, no, no, it's me. You have to bring me to the NTC, and so he brought me to the NTC. I arrived a day earlier than my all my other group, the
Mhm.
ones from England and the ones from and everybody else basically arrived the day after. So I was sleeping all alone at the NTC the first night. It was unreal. It was something that I still remember the feeling of what am I doing here all alone.
So who else was in your group?
So I had Elder Rolo as a companion,
Okay.
and then there was Elder Bradley, Elder, and then we were five. I think we were just five. And then there was Elder. There was two guys from England. One I don't remember his name, and the other I don't remember now. But yeah, it was just five of us, and yeah, we had a good time. I was able to catch up quickly on the language, and I enjoyed my time there at the MCC. It was nice.
Yeah.
I remember that the cook, the chef, it was an Italian guy.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I talked to him a few times in Italian. But other than that, that was my last time talking in Italian with anybody for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what a unique. I bet that was nice to have someone that you could feel that comfort of home for just a little bit of time before you
yeah,
were
yeah.
kind of thrown in the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was nice because I still remember the first interview with President Bourdain. He was asking me questions I could not understand, so I kept on saying yes, yes. At some point, I think he knew that I wasn't getting much, so he said, "Okay, you're a good missionary. Go and learn how to be a missionary. Go your way." It
Um,
was man, President Bourdain. I really love him.
yeah, what a unique experience that those of you that came from Europe that didn't have that true full grasp of the English language just yet. I'm sure that was pretty kind of an out of body experience of sorts.
Yeah, but
Well,
also sorry,
go
also
ahead.
the experience of the mission was a all new world for me because back home I didn't really mingle with the missionaries. Uh, to me, they were just American guys doing missionary work. I didn't know anything about them. In fact, I was the first of many of my age group leaving for a mission because before me, just a couple of guys went on their mission before me,
Hmm.
but quite a few years earlier. So after me, a long list of friends for their mission. So by the time I came back home, I think we had in our stake 30 full-time missionaries serving at the same time, which is quite remarkable.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but also when I came back, I was the first, so I was all alone. All the girls for me.
That's perfect. So take us back. You got home November of 2005 or thereabouts.
Yes,
Tell us
that's right.
tell us about what life's been like since then for you, Michaela.
Yeah, so right when I got back, it was weird, as I said, because I was alone. I was really um, kind of a person who goes out every night with the friends. I had many friends from the church. We always hang out together. Um, as you do in that age.
Mm-hmm.
And when I came back, I was just alone, lots of girls, but no one in particular interesting. Only one, only one. And yeah, so I participated to young single adult activities. Everything was going well, fine. I met my future wife after a few months. I was back. I think within 1 year I was back,
Mm-hmm.
and so we started dating. I was doing a few jobs in between. I jumped from one job to another. Then we engaged and we decided to get married. I was really anxious, and I ended up moving from Verona, which is my hometown. You know, Romeo and Juliet, that Verona.
Yeah.
I moved from there to Como, which is you've heard about Como Lake,
Mm-hmm.
The original Bellagio, not the fake one.
Yeah.
And I moved there. We lived there, I think, about 10 years. I worked a few different jobs. I was kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing here for the temple, but for a big hotel, which had like a golf course. I really enjoyed that. I've done that for a few years. And then I worked in the reception of this hotel. They wanted me to work at the reception, so I worked at the reception. And after um, I think 7 years, my wife was pregnant, and we had our baby, which we named Adam.
Beautiful.
And a few weeks after my boy was born, I got fired from the hotel,
Oh
which
no.
was very disappointing. I was felt in trouble, but luckily I was very blessed because I stayed at home, I think just 10 days, and then I found right away another job. And I worked for the company of the buses, the city buses.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing a mechanic for those. I it wasn't really I didn't really have any degree or any experience, but this job came out. I applied. They saw I was good, and so they actually entrusted me with a fleet of about 60 buses that I was watching over, and I
Wow.
really enjoyed that job because I grew as a kind of petrol head, you know. So I finally was able to get my hands greasy and dirty, and so I did that. And in the meantime, I knew that the temple here in Rome was getting built, and through a friend of mine that called me one night and said, "Hurry up! You have to present your curriculum. You have to present for head gardener for the temple in Rome." I said, "Okay, let's do it." And sure enough, they called me and went to job interview, and they took me. And I moved in Rome right away, and I am working since here at the temple. We bought our house 3 years ago, and yeah, life is great.
It's amazing. So you live in Rome then?
Yes, just outside the city, because Rome is a very big city. I think one of the biggest in Europe, actually. But I live about half an hour from the temple through the countryside. So I live in the countryside. I don't really like cities. I like wilderness. So this is why I really love Scotland.
I love it. So you just have the one son, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So actually, I wanted to see if I can share the screen with you. It's not great, the picture, but this is my son here. We are riding a small dirt bike
Oh,
in
fun.
front of our house. Let's see if I can show you. This is my son again. This is our house, climbing a tree.
How old is your son now?
And now he's 7.
He's 7.
So my son is autistic and he's not speaking yet. He's not able to speak yet.
Okay.
This is my wife and my son.
Wonderful.
And that's me and my son. This was taken very recently. This is our driveway to our house. So just to share with you the faces of my loved ones.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Okay.
Well, good. So, take us back through the mission now, Michele. Start, at the mission home, and tell us your areas, your companions, and any of your fondest memories. And I'm sure Andre will chime in as you get to the time that you both served together.
Yes, please. Anytime, Andre, help me with my bad memory.
I will.
Okay, so starting off at the mission home, I met an Italian missionary who was going home. His name was Mannino, Elder Mannino,
Yeah.
and it was quite kind of weird because we just swapped an Italian going home and an Italian coming in, and yeah, still kind of whole new experience, a little bit weird. Was picked up by my trainer, which was Elder Garota, Harold Garota.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you have him on the webcast?
Not yet, but he's on our list.
Great, excellent. So it was an excellent trainer, a great companion, a good friend. I was glad that he would train me because we had a lot in common. Learning the language and all the challenges that comes with it. So he drove me. We took the bus and we drove to Invergordon, or I should say Olmes, which was our first area. It was the area right above Inverness,
Okay.
already in the Highlands.
Right.
North. We had a nice flat. It was kind of a little, house with 2-story. We had a car, which was great, and the area there was. I loved it. I just loved it because there were a few small villages on the coast.
Mm-hmm.
Our area actually went from the east coast to the west coast all the way. So it was a big chunk of Scotland with nothing in between, of course.
Right.
But yeah, it was
Sheep and mountains.
mountains, sheep, sometimes, and nothing else.
That's true.
At the other end, there was this village called Ullapool, which got mentioned earlier in other podcasts.
Yeah.
We drove a few times there. It was, I think, a couple of hours driving or something. So the branch over there was quite small. I guess they were about 40 or 50 members with quite interesting stories, as they happen in small branches in Scotland,
Right.
with lots of intrigues.
Sure.
But I really grew up on loving them, and sincerely, I felt really at home. Elder God helped me a lot with this. We got along really well. We didn't have much success teaching over there. We were kind of stuck with just one or two itinerant investigators, but I enjoyed going tracking, chopping, I should say, and sometimes GQing. But by the end of my time there, I knew everybody. So when I walked through the main street of, say, Olness, I would say, hi, hi, hey, how you doing? And the same thing in Invergordon, the same thing in Dingwall, and all these villages, which I really like. I like driving through these kind of sceneries, the
Yeah.
chromatic earth.
Yeah, it's beautiful up there.
Yeah, I loved it. And so after Elder Garota, he moved, and I got Elder Martinez.
Oh yeah.
It was amazing. I got along with him really well. He was from Spain. He's from Spain, and so again we could relate a lot. We had a lot in common, and we had some great times together. I can tell you a little story that maybe I'm not supposed to tell, but
No,
anyway.
please tell it. You have to tell the stories. You can't bring up
So,
stories and then not tell them. Sorry, that's not how this podcast
I knew
works.
it already. I hope Martinez is not going to feel ashamed about this. But so we were kind of looked with interest by the girls in these villages because local guys were kind of drunk and chubby, let's say, and we were just always dressing sharp and going around like I'm Italian, he is Spanish, woo, woo. And so we got all this. I think we had a small plethora, a small group of fans.
Yeah.
They were waiting for us, always at the same time, like in the high street. We would wave at them. They would send us kisses. So that was
Elder
great.
Aurelio said the same thing. He said there was just this allure of having an Italian or someone from Spain or France that was just, I don't know, for the Scots, they just were like, they would ooze over how exotic you were.
But that's right, and I enjoyed all of it. I actually made use of it. So
It's
throughout
good.
my mission, I tried my best, and Andre knows about this. I tried my best to keep a strong Italian accent. I did it on purpose because whenever we chat and we knock on a door and somebody will open the door, I try my best to speak with the strongest Italian accent. So the guy would start talking with me. Where are you from? I'm from Italy. Oh, really? Oh, well. So this I use this as an excuse to start the conversation and to get in people's homes, and it was quite effective. A few times. Yeah.
I'm sure. That's amazing.
Great times, great times. So I had really fun memories of this period serving in all Ness. And then I got moved, even though I didn't want to leave. I got moved to Glasgow, to an area called Rutherglen, something like this. And I
Yeah,
was
Rutherglen.
serving with the Elder Webb, which was uh, earlier was with Elder Asariado, which he trained him. So Elder Webb was kind of fresh.
Is
But
is it Steven? Is that his first name?
Stephen Webb, yeah, that's right,
Okay.
from Arizona.
That's right.
A really nice guy. He was, I think, I was supposed to teach him something, but it was the opposite. He taught me a lot. He
Yeah.
was a very dedicated missionary. He didn't spare any time or effort or energy or hour of the day. He would always be on fire, going and tracking and teaching. It was actually quite hard for me to keep up with this because I was kind of a little bit more relaxed. I like to take my time walking around, talking to people. I did not want to rush. And so actually in this area we didn't have a car. We did everything by bus and a lot actually by foot. And it was at that time that I developed a knee problem. It's like the tendons of my knees got inflamed, and so they were hurting really bad. There were
Hmm.
some times that I could not walk. I just had to sit down. And actually, when I stopped moving the knee would swell, and it was hurting even more. So it was kind of a painful period. Elder Webb was wanting to go and work. I was kind of holding him back. I hope he didn't mind. But and this kind of how can I call it sickness? It's never left me. I still have it right now.
Really?
Yeah, and the doctor said it's probably going to stay with me for the rest of my life. There's nothing I can do about it. But
Just
it's
like hereditary knee problems or something like that?
no, it's like for what I understood, when you get uh, a nerve or a ligament so inflamed uh, in a part of the body that you always use, it's impossible to get it healed because you should stop walking for like 6 months, and this is of course never going to happen. So,
Yeah. Wow.
but from time to time, I'm still feeling some pain, but it's a price that I gladly pay for my experience in the mission.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so Elder Webb got moved, and Elder Mortley came in, the Aussie guy,
Yeah, Elder Mortley. Okay.
remotely. So I enjoyed serving with him. We got along really well together. It was a fun guy. At that time, we were serving closely with the other two missionaries, and I think there were Elder Osmond and I think Elder Clausen.
Okay.
Yes, so we did a lot of stuff together. We did some branch activities together. I really enjoyed this. So actually, let me show you a picture. I don't have it. I have it on paper. Yeah.
You mean it's old school, it's printed?
So this is Elder Allen.
Yeah.
That's me. This is Elder Motley. And inside here, I believe there is Elder Osmond. We had this giant inflatable, puppet because we were doing some free car wash for the as a branch activity.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So this is again a picture from those days.
Good looking group right there.
Yeah. Let's see. Do I have any other good pictures? Oh, another one from early days. Elder Garotto and me playing guitar. I think this was a district conference or something like this. See what
Uh,
else?
I have a quick question for you, Michaela. Were you ever one that did any of the missionary songs? Did you guys record anything on the guitar that you guys redid? Do you remember those songs?
Yes, I remember. No, it wasn't me. I think it was. Um, I don't remember the names. Other missionaries whom were serving in Glasgow at the time I was there. Elder Dan, and Elder. There was another missionary with serving with Elder Dan in Motherwell. It was an English guy. I don't remember his name, but they were quite good at playing and singing. And so, but in fact, we did some songs together. We played at the Zone conference something some hymn. I don't remember. I think also Elder Osmond sang with us.
Okay. I'll have to go back and listen to Elder Dunn's his episode and see who he was with at that point in time and try and piece it together.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really bad at names. I don't remember names at all.
You're doing pretty good so far.
I wished I rehearsed a little bit before doing this, but I didn't really have much time.
No need to rehearse. The magic of the podcast is that as you continue to speak, they come back to your mind. You know, it's the Spirit bringing those things to your remembrance.
That's right. So let's see if I have other pictures here.
I love that you have your photo album. That's amazing.
This is a picture from the flat in Rotterdam. This was our flat. And this was our yard. And you can see the grass is overgrown. I didn't know it was ours until the landlord told us, why do you have such a wilderness? And here in the corner, there was a nest with foxes.
Really?
Yeah, we had foxes in the middle of Glasgow. Yeah, it was cool. And so
cool.
one day I took this old lawnmower and I tried to do my best to cut the lawn, but I think I burned it because the grass was so tall. I burned
it. you broke. Was that your first efforts of lawn care in your career?
One of the first, yes.
That's so fun.
But the landlord was kind. He didn't tell me anything. He said, "Okay, it's fine. I'll take care of this." Let's see. Here we got a picture. I think this is the Wallace Monument in Stirling.
Okay.
There is Osmond, Dracocardos, Red, and myself. You can't see really well this picture. Here is another picture of us making funny faces. Osmond, Alan here, myself, and Red. We were doing, as I told you, much hanging around. It was great. Oh, look here! Look who's here!
Oh,
I don't know this guy.
It's Andre.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a different experience, right? Going from the Highlands, where it's just you and your companion most days, to when you're in the middle of a city and you can come across one another quite regularly, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We met quite a lot every Sunday, of course, at church. There was a small branch there, I think about 30 or 40 people. I remember the branch president is called Thompson, President Thompson, Andy Thompson, which I'm still in contact with him. He was the best guy. He always had us over for lunch, for dinner. He was really missionary orientated. He took us to the Stirling Castle. It was him that drove us up there and showed us around. He was the nicest guy, and also other members that I'm sorry I don't remember their names, but they were really kind to us. It was for me, as I said, a tough time there because of my injury, a knee injury, and yeah, I really don't like big cities, so I didn't like going around, walking around. Actually, in our areas was famous because in our area there were the Gorbals. Have you ever heard of them?
The Gorbals, yeah.
It's a quarter where only Meds would live in. So it was kind of scary. Actually, I think we were not allowed to go through it. We had to every time we had to take a detour to pass this kind of quarter. And I have another story about the days in Rotterdam. So I think it was every Thursday. We used to go in a certain place of Glasgow to work, and we took every time this bus that it's always doing the same way, the same route. And for some reason, I don't remember. This week we didn't go that day, we went another day. I don't remember. And just by chance, I think one of our investigators told us, "Have you heard about the bomb that exploded in such street that day?" And I said, "No." I read the article, and it was supposed to explode the same day that we were supposed to pass through at the same time we were supposed to pass through this area. And there were the pictures of it was, I think, inside of a pub that exploded. I still remember that every time we passed with the bus, I could see the pub, and afterwards I would see the pub that was just shattered to pieces. It was quite
Wow.
scary, but I guess this is a real testimony of the Lord hands taking care of his missionaries in any circumstances.
Yeah.
We could have been hurt pretty bad because the picture you could see the picture of the bar exploded and the bus right next to it all burned.
Wow, that is a miracle.
Yeah,
amazing.
Yeah.
Goodness.
But on a different note, I remember Greg's. Do you know about Greg's?
Greg's. That's right.
I know. This was one of the best, how can I say, cheer up moments for me because we could go and take some breakfast there or lunch. We could have some deals on the pastries of the day before because they had a discount.
That's right. I forgot about that. Oh, goodness. Good memories.
Yeah, so I think that's about it. So when I got moved from Glasgow, I went to Bridge of Dawn.
Okay.
And I was serving with what's his name? The Welsh guy.
The Welsh guy. I don't remember.
He was quite. It was older than me. He went on his mission later, and he was a very, very silent guy. He didn't talk much. He was very silent. It was weird, but I loved him. Elder Austin.
Oh yeah, okay.
Elder Austin, yeah. So it was again a shock because in Bridge of Dawn we had sisters in the same ward.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember the first day I arrived in Bridge of Dawn, I unpacked my stuff, and Elder Austin told me that in the evening we would have our meeting with the war missionary leader. I thought, okay, that's fine. And the war missionary leader drove to our flat, picked us up at our flat, and he would drive us to the chapel. Something really nice. I remember I was like, wow, that's great. We don't have to take the bus to the church. It was Matthew Grubb. I still remember his name, and Andre, of course, he remembers.
Yeah.
And on the way, we stopped to pick up the sisters. And it was weird because it was, I think, the first time I saw sisters in my mission. And there was Sister McGowan and Sister Brown.
Okay.
The one who got married with what's his name? Do you remember Zinkovski? You don't?
No, Sister Crookston. Was it Crookston?
Crookston.
Oh, Crookston. Wait, Crookston was there after you.
No, she was there before because Sister Heap went to replace Sister Crookston. You remember?
Yep.
First Sister Crookston and then Sister Heap. But I remember sitting in the car.
Oh, right, yes.
I remember sitting in the car of Matthew Grubb, and the sister walked to us. I was like, wow, I'm in heaven. Two blonde sisters with the blue eyes. They're like, wow, that's nice. That's very nice. This is going to be a great area to start in. I remember this. I loved it. I stayed with Elder Austin just for one move, and then I got somebody who I don't remember his name.
Wait, you got me. What do you mean?
I got Andre. So uh, I the evening of the moves, President Vince told me on the phone that I was going to share with Andre. He told me it's a good missionary, but he's got some. He had a tough beginning in his mission, and so you have to help him a lot. And I said, okay, that's fine, no problem with me.
Oh, that's what he told you?
Yeah. But as soon as we got together, I mean, we just clicked. We became best friends ever. I think it was the best time of my mission with Andre because we stayed together quite a long time. I think 4.5 months, 3
Yeah,
moves.
you stayed 3 transfers.
So I was in Aberdeen for 6 months, 3 transfers with you, and I enjoyed every day, every single day of it. So I think it's because me and Andre we got kind of the same sense of humor. We could make fun of everybody, everywhere, no matter what. Uh, we just did what we felt like doing, and we didn't care about what everybody else thought of us.
No, but we were kind, so we had fun, but we didn't, make fun to be
Yeah,
evil. So we were
no, fun in a good way, just joking around. And I remember we would walk, through the day and singing our songs. Do you remember, Andre? We we
kind. I
we
do.
we put our own words to the missionary hymn. So we would just march like this, pumping our feet really hard together and singing. We are the Mormons and we're strong, weird and prideful, or something like this.
That's so funny. Oh
Uh,
goodness.
and we would just give nicknames to everybody, to the sisters, to the members, to our investigators. It was just great fun, serving together. We would really get along, even because we were really kind of we had kind of a thing about cleaning our flat. We were doing pretty good at cleaning our flat. We just kept this place like spotless. Remember, Andre, when we cleaned it?
Yeah, I remember you being really thorough with cleaning the flat. And then I remember one instant when we cleaned the flat and we were about to go out, and I was brushing my teeth and I spit in the sink, and I didn't clean the spit. So so Menini made me to go back and to clean the sink after that.
I didn't remember. Yeah, that's right. And also, we were both good at, I guess, cooking. So we would cook our own meals. Andre was uh, very good at cooking potatoes. He was famous for potatoes.
Potatoes and fish chips. Or not fish chips, fish lips.
Fish lips.
Yeah.
That's right.
So now let me tell you a story that you, Andre, forgot. You didn't tell this story on your podcast.
Oh, do you think
So
we should be telling the story?
yeah, it's a good story. So one day we went out, just doing missionary work, and when we went back for lunch, I said, "Okay, you open the door," and Andre said, "No, you open the door." But no, you have the key. No, you have the key. We left the key, of course, inside our flat,
Oh
and
no.
so we didn't know what to do. We didn't know the landlord. We didn't have any contact with anybody, and our flat was in a building with many flats. Remember, Andre?
Yeah, it was in Kitty Brewster.
Kitty Brewster. That's right, Kitty Brewster. And so we had to climb a wall, jump over the wall to go on the backyard of the building. I I lifted up myself on the window of the on the staircase because nobody was home. We tried buzzing other people's apartment, but nobody would answer. So I went inside the staircase and then I opened Andre. So we got in the staircase. And when we were facing our door, we didn't know what to do, and we started kicking the door so hard. Remember, Andre, with our feet? I was taking like all the way from the stairs, bam, and this huge noise, and nobody was home, so nobody really noticed it. We kicked it until we got it open, so we were able to come in the flat. And afterwards, I think I fixed it because I will always be kind of a handyman, so I took some screw, fixed the door, so it was able to be closed again. But yeah, that was pretty an adventure. Yeah,
You broke the door in the flat?
yeah, yes, yes.
I don't remember that. I remember we climbing, but I don't remember breaking the door. So it's probably been really traumatic for me. So my brain just hid it from me.
Andre was in the corner like, no.
Probably, yes, probably. He was quite kind of worried that the police would come and get us arrested because we were, trying to break in somebody's apartment.
Gee. It's really funny.
Yes, oh man. And I think, well, Andre told you about the story of our first convert for both of us, which is Sandra Wood, the nicest lady. Um, it, may I try to tell my side of the story?
Of course.
So we were chopping this day, and it was quite kind of miserable. I think it was raining or something like that, and we didn't have any success at all. Nobody would let us in. Nobody was home. We were quite, down. And we went at the end of this road. We chopped the last door, and then Andre said, "Well, let's go back. There's nothing we can do more here." But I said, "Let's try and see what this road leads to," because this road got narrower, and it kind of entered in a wood, in a wood. So you could not see what was at the end of the street. And we walked a few steps, and there was like a house for elderly people. And again, Andre said, "Okay, there's nothing we can do here. We cannot go and teach people like in the care home." And I said, and I remember saying, but the end is it doesn't end here. Let's try and walk a little further so we can see what's at the end of the road. And I said, "Okay, let's go." And at the end of this road, there was this little house, like in the middle of nowhere, this small cottage. And sure enough, we knocked on the door. The lady answered. I remember she was really not interested, but I was kind of, mm, I don't know why, but I was kind of convincing. I got her to talk, and I really convinced her to go back, to have us back teach a little bit about our church. And then it happened. She called us. I think she called us. She phoned us, and she said, I've been waiting for you. I've been praying for an answer to know what church I should join. And right back, right when I stopped praying, you knocked on the door. So it was an undeniable sign of an answer from God, and it just went really well from there. We enjoyed a lot going to see her, teaching her, getting her to know the brand, the word, the Bridgerton word. The Grab family was really supportive to us. I think once they invited us and Sandra over to dinner, I think we managed to get President Payne, which was the stake president of Aberdeen, to go and join teach with us at Sandra's house, and just an amazing experience. I really loved. She was kind. She would drive us around. She would pay for our food. She would help also other investigators of ours. You remember Don Davidson, Andre?
Mhm.
She had some problems, and Sandra would give her money to be able to pay the groceries.
No.
Amazing lady, yeah. And what else? We got along really well with the members in our area, particularly with the Adam family.
Mhm.
Once when I first moved in the Bridge of Dawn, they were less active.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I think when I moved in Bridge of Dawn, there were like about 80 people showing up at church on Sundays, and I kind of set my own personal goal to bring that to 100. And as soon as I went into this house, I saw so many kids. They were young couple. I think the husband, Chris, was about my age or one year older than me. Just so I saw the potential there, and we started to go often to this house to do some service. You remember, Andre? We did the bathroom.
Yeah, you did the bathroom.
You were watching.
I was watching. I was playing with
I think you
kids. I
painted
was.
the hallway. I think.
Did I?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember doing anything like of service. I remember spending a lot of time with kids and with
Yeah.
Karen just on the kitchen doing stuff, talking to her, while Menini was fixing stuff like
But
bathroom paintings, things.
here's another funny story about this. So I done the bathroom. Just took it all out and put in all fresh things in new. And so I did also the electrical wiring for the heater for the shower. They have this weird thing that you have
Right?
to press the button, something never seen before in my life. But they had this method to heat the water for the shower. So everything was new. They had, I think they were really looking forward to have the bathroom finished so they can have showers, because I think for a period of time they were going to the swimming pool to shower the kids and themselves because they could not do it at home.
Oh, wow.
So this evening was kind of late. I think just before dinner, I finished everything, and the owner Chris went there, pushed the button, and he was warming the water for to take a shower. And after a few minutes, ah, everything went black. All the electricity turned down. But the funny thing is that it didn't just turn down in that house; it turned down in the whole street.
Oh, really?
So Chris Adam, which was kind to me, didn't blame me. He just said, "Ah, you didn't know." Called another member of the Bridgerton Ward, which drove really fast to this house, and he was an electrician, I think, by trade, by job. So he fixed this problem, and he kind of took me apart and told me, well, if you're not really an electrician, you shouldn't do these kind of jobs because it's quite dangerous. And I remember feeling sorry for it, but also they didn't blame me. They were not harsh to me. They said, okay, you tried, you've done something nice, and it's not your fault. So, but yeah, we risked quite a bit. When I took the wires out, we were cooked. We were
Oh no!
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, so through service and just loving this family, we got them back to church. They became active again. They had callings in the ward, also in the stake. We did everything we could to help them. We were really close to this family.
They were still
Andre,
active when I was in Aberdeen later in my mission. So I went to their house, and they're such great people.
great. The oldest daughter, what's his name, Andre? Christine, that's right. Christine served a mission, which was excellent. I think she got married to the youngest brother of elder. What's his name?
Someone from the mission?
From the mission, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, for somebody from Liverpool, I think. I don't
Interesting.
remember. Yeah. So yeah, so they got married, I heard, and unfortunately, I think they got eventually separated. Correct me if I'm wrong, Andre. I think they got separated, and I think what was her name? The
Karen.
Yeah, I think she's kind of against the church right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously, I didn't know that. I have to talk to her about this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know that she's a member of Scottish Parliament.
Yeah, that's right. She's very involved with that.
But I didn't know that she's not involved with the church anymore. Yeah, I'll talk to her and rebuke her.
Rebuke. That's right. I also remember the time when you, Andre, talked about the story of Bishop. What was his name?
Bishop Tobin.
Bishop Tobin. That's right. Bishop. President Brian told us that you are the best bishop in the whole Scotland. Ah, that's rubbish. But see, things like this, they became like memes for me, Andre. Like back then, they were not memes,
Yeah.
These kind of things stuck on our minds, and we would make fun over and over of this. I remember Elder Anderson, I think was that was saying marvelous. Do you remember?
Marvelous.
Elder Nelson. Was it Nelson?
Elder Nelson. Nelson with I don't remember Nelson and who was with him? The very tall guy. What was his name?
Peterson.
That's right. They were serving together, and Elder Nelson was every time. He was, marvelous, and we would laugh so hard and make fun of him. Man. So,
I remember we had even on our board this word marvelous.
That's right. But it was cool. He was cool with it. He wasn't annoyed about us. We would just make fun of everybody, even the members. We would make fun of the members. Do you remember that sister? What was it called? The hoarder that had the house filled with cats and newspapers.
I think it was Sister Hutton, but I'm not sure.
Sister Hutton. That's
I think
right.
you're right, Andre.
Sister Hutton, man. Oh man.
All three of us survived meals at that house.
That's right. Did you tell the story when we were there together and the dishes were dirty? And so we sneaked through the bathroom. I think there was Sister McGowan passing them from the kitchen to the table, and
Yeah, I
I
think
got them
Sister
from the
Heap
table
told the
to
story.
Sister Heap, but she was in the bathroom washing them because they were still crusty. And,
Yeah.
we would get out of that house. I had a black suit. By the time I went out of that house, it was white with fur of cats. Oh man!
Jeez Louise.
But I enjoyed this time together. I really enjoyed this. Do you remember Sister Mead?
Oh yeah, Sister Me.
We would make fun of her. Do you remember when we went for Christmas with the branch? You know, they had this truck, and on top of the truck they had this LED of Santa Claus. And a member played Santa Claus. We would go to the street of Bridge of Dawn.
What do they call it? Christmas something?
Yeah, Christmas caroling or something like this.
Something different.
We would tap on the doors and
Mhm.
get money offered to go to the Red Cross or something like this.
Mhm.
And we would make fun of Sister Mead because she was sweating so hard by walking from door to door. Remember that?
Yeah. Poor Sister Mead.
Yeah, she was nice to us. She had us over a few times as missionary for some meals.
Yeah,
No,
that's
nothing special. You know, it's just canned food warmed up. For us missionaries, everything is fine.
Michaela, you would have been with Andre then when you guys did Christmas caroling and he passed out pass-along cards by saying
Yeah.
free cards for Christmas, right?
I remember that we were in the high street. I think just outside the mall there was this big mall in the high street of Aberdeen. We were just outside there singing. Andre didn't enjoy singing, so at some point he got really fed up. I saw him walking around nervously, and I tried to say, "Okay, just join us, or do whatever you feel like. Just enjoy your time here." He didn't, so he did that thing that sit up on the chairs and free cuts for everybody, and huge mass of people going around. I was like, "Great job, man! That's right. That's the right thing, man." Yeah,
That's so good.
we had Christmas that year together. I think we did some nice zone activities together. I think we went to the steak house. The zone leaders were Mr. Elder Peterson and Elder the Swedish guy,
um
the bald guy.
yeah.
The bald guy.
What is it? Elder Bautista.
Bautista, that's right, Bautista, nicest man on earth. Yeah, we had some fun times together. I think we watched some cartoons there, if I remember correctly, all together. Also for New Year's Eve. Oh, I remember another story that you didn't tell. At New Year's Eve, there was this steak activities for all the members. There was like a ball,
Hmm.
and we missionary got invited. And but Andres told me that well, if we go, we might as well just go to dance, you know. So there's no point for us wearing our missionary clothes. Let's just wear normal clothes and go up there and dance. And I said, well, if you're up to it, I'm up for it. So we went there, and I think there were all the other missionaries and sister were their missionary clothes, sitting on the chair, just looking, and myself and Andre just dancing like crazy. I was goofing around like with the young women, and yeah, man, it was some nice
There's
time.
nothing about dancing in the White Handbook, if I remember right. Dancing's fine.
I think, yeah.
Just don't intimately dance.
That's right. So that's right. In fact, I think this is why I agreed with Andre to go dance. Because that's fine. Nothing wrong with it. And so, especially the way we did, because we were just goofing around, doing some weird moves. He was very good at it, Andre.
As long as you didn't slow dance with one another, that's fine.
No, we didn't. But let's say we were admired by many.
Nice.
So yeah, what else? What else? Do we have any other funny stories in Bridge of Dawn? I remember, what do you call when you track together? We went like us two and the sisters to track on the same road, power tracking or something like this.
Like a blitz.
No, so Blitz. That's right, maybe Blitz. Yeah, we went and did some of those. And so I remember teaching John, one-legged John. That was fine. I think I do remember the huge Hasda that was in the north of Bridge of Dawn. What was the name?
There was a huge Asda in Bridge of Dawn. I remember that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we loved going there, doing some shopping.
Well, was it in Dice?
Dice, that's right, Dice. You remember the family that lived there?
The Frasers.
The Frasers. No, the Frasers. Yeah, the Frasers, which were kind of less active, but we worked with them. They were active by the time we went away, and also that family, which the husband was not a member of the church. You remember them? They had a small child. She was an active member, but I remember talking in the ward council about the husband, and the wife was there, and she got mad at us because we called her husband an investigator. She stood up. My husband is not an investigator. Okay, sorry. Remember that, Andre?
That was probably another traumatic experience for me.
Also, there was another family which lived in the sister areas that we went and have dinner quite often. That the oldest son was almost our age, and he played electric guitar, and so I got into a jam session with him, playing some Metallica tunes. That was nice. And also, I remember the Williamsons. Do you remember Danny? 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 You had a special surname nickname for him. Remember?
No. What was that?
Boopsy.
Oh, what?
Boopsy.
Boopsy?
Yeah, that's right.
Why Boopsy?
I don't know if I should tell, but because he was really a strong guy. I don't know if you ever met.
I met Danny. Yeah.
He liked to wrestle, I think.
Yeah.
And so he had this huge muscle, and he was always wearing these tight t-shirts. And so he was like, he had big breasts. And Andre came up with this nickname, which was really fun.
I hope he doesn't listen to.
I remember you called him like this to make fun of him in front of his mother, and Sister Williamson said like, "What did you call my son?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing. It's just a joke."
Oh my gosh!
I'm sure Danny has forgiven you, and he's still a very active. I think he does like jujitsu now, if I remember right. Like he's very, very good at what he does.
Yes, he served a mission. I don't think he. I think he came back earlier because of a injury he had on the back, something like this.
Yeah, I remember that. That's how I got to know him, because I started my mission in Peterhead right after you had left, Michele, right. And then I knew he had gone, and then I got to know him. I was in Aberdeen at the end of my mission, so that's when I got to know Danny.
Yeah, nicest guy. Again, what was his name? Owen. Owen, his older brother.
I don't know that I ever met Owen.
We went out quite a few times with him, just chatting and teaching. Yeah, we tried to involve as much as we could members in our teaching, and
Yeah.
it was nice to have some people of our kind of group age in the world, because we can relate, we could joke. Do you
Yeah.
remember? Do you remember that recent convert? I think was called Doug.
Hmm.
The sisters baptized him.
Yeah, the dog. I remember we hang out with him.
Yeah, it was nice. He had a nice car. I think he had a Toyota Celica or something.
He had everything nice. I remember he gave us the nicest presents for Christmas.
That's right. That's right. He gave me a nice jumper.
Hmm.
Well, foreign jumper, quite expensive.
Yeah. It's interesting.
So again, the best time there, because we were serving so close to the sisters and also to the Aberdeen missionaries. I think there were the zone leader and another couple. So we were, I think, 8 of us in the same city. We would often meet for district conferences, or on P days. We would just do stuff together. I remember going on and having, playing football at the park. Well, I don't really like playing football. I know it's weird being in Italian, but I don't like playing football, so I just sat down and played guitar as loud as I can, as I could.
Hey, Michele, do you remember we made these T-shirts with the Incredibles?
That's right. I think we made it at the Adam house.
Did we? I
Yeah,
remember us
because
buying shirts and buying
yeah,
this paper.
she bought the this kind of printer who would print on T-shirts. So I think we were at their house, but that we designed all these incredible pictures, Incredibles, and we took our faces and we put them. I don't know if I still have that T-shirt. Yeah, I think Sister McGowan and Sister Heap were there at the time.
Yeah.
You
We'll have to see if either of them have a picture of you all in your incredible T-shirts.
Yeah, I don't remember. I mean,
Yeah,
I was trying to find a picture with.
I think we took some pictures of us wearing that. Maybe we didn't wear it in public because it was quite ugly. But yeah, I have fond memories of days serving there with Andre. I really enjoyed every day. We enjoyed walking around, taking buses. I remember one time you tried to pick a fight with some um, some Neds in the bus.
No, come on, not fighter.
No,
There's so many, so
you were
many stories
upset.
already of me fighting.
You were upset for some reason, and you started to, I don't know, say something to them, and they were like, "Yeah, you want to fight? Yeah, we will fight." And I just stepped in between and said, "Okay, that's fine. We're cool. We are your friends." And by the end, we just left by saying goodbye. Take care. And, oh man, I remember about the buses. Do you remember the buses in Aberdeen? They had they were by colors. So there were
Mhm.
purple color, the yellow color, the green color, and there was one that was brown. So on the top of the bus, it was written the brown line. So every time I looked at it, I would say it out loud, pointing at the bus. Oh, the brown line.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
was a poor choice. I can agree.
yeah, I don't know who thought about this. But another funny story. We were doing a Zoom conference, so quite a few of us at the Stake Center in Aberdeen. And looking outside the window, there was a member of the church, of course, riding the mower, mowing the grass, and that was wearing just the garments. You
No
remember
way.
about this? No, I was shocked. He was like, "Yeah, hi, Anders," and he was like just wearing his garments. You're like, what on earth, man? What are you doing?
Oh
I
my
think
goodness.
I think President Brins didn't see him because I think he would have gone to talk to him, but it was weird.
He was showing his religion to all those driving by.
Yeah, and because the state center in Aberdeen was by the one of the busiest streets
Yeah.
in the city. So
Yeah, it was. My goodness.
yeah, so I loved again every day of it. And unfortunately, I then had to move,
Yeah.
but I moved really close because I ended up in Elgin.
That's right.
Andre was really upset. I remember that. But I remember me tried to, counsel him and telling him, it's not a big deal. We're going to see each other quite often. We're in the same zone. We are next to each other, like zones. We will find ways to see each other throughout the mission, I'm sure. And in fact, we did so many times. So I was there with the Elder Dottavio. So the two Italians serving together.
That's right.
Elder Oswald trained Elder Dottavio, and then I moved in. I remember President Green telling me on the phone, okay, Elder, I'm going to move you with Elder Dottavio, but you have to promise me that you will not speak a single word of Italian when you are together. And I said,
No way. Really?
yeah, that's no problem. I told President, that's fine. I forgot my Italian, so that's fine.
I forgot.
In fact, when we got together, we never spoke about in Italian. The only time, and Elder Dottavio, please forgive me, but the only time I heard Elder Dottavio speaking Italian, he was cursing in Italian. Because I think that day I was giving him a hard time on how he drove the car. Because there is this kind of, so you must know Elder Dottavio is from Milan, you know.
Yeah.
In Italy, they say that the people in Milan, they drive the car quite, hectically.
Hmm.
So this day, I don't know, I gave him a hard time. I was making jokes, and I think at one point it was he had enough, and he started cursing me in Italian. And said, "Okay, that's fine. Sorry."
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
really
So
funny.
yeah, but I had a nice time also with Elder Italian in Elgin. I loved Elgin. It was a nice area. I think you served in Elgin too, Elder Zinkovski, right?
That was my first area with Elder Thomas.
So I remember Sister Campbell, Pauline Campbell. Remember her?
Hmm.
She was less active. I really liked to work with her. She was quite, I don't know, down to earth, and
Yeah, she's nice.
she was also good looking. So I think that's the reason. I don't know. I think she had a soft spot for Italians, but I don't know. This is just a feeling.
She had a couple of options.
Yeah, but yeah, and there we had the car, so I gave my knees some rest, and I really enjoyed driving the car there. I think we drove quite a bit because also Elgin was a big area. It was going down south, into the middle of nowhere. We had a lady that we were teaching. I think it took us about 2 hours driving going there. But we would go once a week, and she was quite interested, so we were willing to do the effort of driving down there. And also, I liked going there because there was nothing. And so I have to tell you a story about this. So I really like driving, as I told you, from back home, and I like to do off-road. Okay. So one day I decided to take the little Vauxhall Corsa and took it off-road, and we were driving this dirt road in the middle of the woods, and I didn't see there was this kind of crossing. There was a small, not a pond.
A stream?
Yeah, but very small. I didn't think much about it, so I went straight onward. And as soon as my front tire went in, they sank in the mud, and they sank so much that the bottom of the car, the bottom out, the bottomed out, so
Mhm.
we had no traction on the wheel. And so we got out, we covered ourselves in mud. We were just dirty as, pigs. And we could not do anything about it. So we decided to walk, leave the car there and walk. We would walk, I think it took us an hour to get to the closest farm. And just by chance, we saw the farmer driving a tractor. And I don't know how the chances, that farmer that was driving, the person that was driving the tractor was the son of this lady that we were teaching. Even though it was quite far, I don't know why he was working there.
Wow.
So he recognized us, and I said, "Oh, it's us, please, please, can you help us?" And we went inside the cab of the tractor, drove with the tractor all the way, chained the car, and he pulled us back, so we were able to go home.
Wow.
We were out quite late at night by the time we got home. I, but,
That's a miracle.
yeah, but I didn't learn my lesson there because I kept on driving out off road. I don't know why. If I think about it, I was so stupid. So I remember this time, my zone leaders were Elder West and Elder Clausen, I think. And I was doing exchanges, and I was with Elder West. We found ourselves in this muddy road, and I looked at Elder West and I said, "What do you think? Should we floor it and go for it?" And he said, "Well, it's up to you." And I said, "Well, what do you say?" I was trying to get him, if something happened, it was his blame, to him to blame. But I said, "What the hell?" I floored it and I went, boom. I drove through this muddy area, and it went well. I didn't get stuck. So I was so confident. And I think a few days later, I was driving. My companion then was Elder Wood
Okay.
from Cuba. He was also a fan of off-roading. So we took this kind of detour in the middle of the woods, and I started to do handbrakes. I started to have so much fun that every curve, and there was this curve. It was so nice to do handbrakes. I did it about 10 times. The 10th times, I don't know what went wrong, but the front wheel locked up, and we went straight into the ditch onto a tree, and we crashed the car into the tree.
Oh,
So
no.
that evening, we had to call the how do you call it, the truck that comes to pick you up,
Tow truck.
the tow truck. That's right. I had to explain. Okay, well, we are in the middle of nowhere. We are here with a map. I was trying to guide him. He was able to reach out to us and drag us out. And that evening, I was telling President Guinness, said, "President Guinness, I'm sorry, I crashed the car." It was nice. He didn't tell me anything. He said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes, we are okay." And so I think that was the end of the car in Elgin because of my fault.
Oh, no.
I think they didn't repair it because it was an old Corsa, the very old one.
Hmm.
So I think they didn't repair it. But yeah, so
Jeez.
Elgin was a nice. There were just a few members there. It was a small branch, but it was a nice area. I remember going on P days to do the studying on the On the seaside, there was a beautiful beach. It was white sand. The water was crystal clear. It was nice, and there was a huge cliff. Um, Beautiful, beautiful. Of course, we didn't go to do the bath in the ocean because
Of course.
it was freezing, but it was nice. Yeah, and so in Elgin, I think that is it. After I served in Elgin, I went back to serve in Aberdeen. So out of my 24 months in a mission, I served 20 months in the Aberdeen stake. So by the time I was done with my mission, I knew very well all the members of the stake, Elgin, Aberdeen, Bridgerton, Ness. When there were like stake conferences, it was so nice to be able to see all the members. I would just go and chat with all of them. It was great. Yeah, so when I moved back in Aberdeen, my companion was Elder Brownlow, Tom Brownlow,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed serving with him. He was the best guy. Uh, he taught me how to be polite every time, everywhere, with anybody. He was really polite. I remember this. But we had some fun times together. Um, I think let's see. There was this story about how we found this woman we were attracting this evening, and we tapped on this door, and this lady came to answer the door, and she was on a wheelchair. And I don't know why. Tom asked her before saying anything else. He asked her, hi, how are you doing? What are you doing?" And she's like, "Well, actually, right now I am varnishing the floorboards in my living room." And Tom's like, "What? How are you managing to do that since she was in a wheelchair?" And she said, "Well, come in, I'll show you." So we came in, he showed us, she was like painting a little bit, then moving the tin, moving the wheelchair, painting, So we said, "Okay, so you sit back and we are going to take care of this." So we took out the brushes and we painted all the living room, and she was, impressed. And since then, we kept on coming back just because. Oh, but well, you've done your living room. Now we should do the hallway. After doing the hallway, the windows needed painting. After doing the windows, something else, and she was really nice. We taught her. We had her coming to church a few times. Um, we she was nice. She was a painter. She painted the pictures, and she gifted us one for me and one for Tom. We were painting. It was really nice. And yep. So what else? Ah, about the time in Aberdeen, I think the other elders were Elder Willis and the Canadian one, the big guy.
Archambault?
No,
Elder Bhutan?
sorry,
Elder Bhutan? Oh, Bhutan? No.
no. The big guy. You had him. I saw him on the podcast. Oh man,
Elder McLeod.
Elder McLeod. That's right. And we were always together. We set up this kind of thing that of the P-Day Eve. So Monday night we would meet up after working, and we would go and have barbecue on the seaside. I remember I bought a small barbecue, a portable one,
Hmm.
and we would go to Asda, buy the charcoal, buy the meat, and we would go to the beach and have our dinner together there. Yeah, yeah, it
That's
was,
awesome.
yeah. And we did many things together, activities and other things. We would go together to DAs and members. Um, we were really close. And so there was this family, which is called S.E.M. Remember them?
Oh
S.E.M.
yes,
They
and
were
and
really, they were
and
really yeah, that's right.
and what's her husband's name? I'm forgetting. But yes, the Sims were amazing.
Brother S.E.M. Brother S.E.M.
Brother Sim.
So they had quite a few sons and daughters, many
Hmm.
of group age, I remember. So this time there was this stake activity, like how do you call it, like a talent show, you
Hmm.
know. And I convinced everybody to do our own thing in the talent show. So it was all the same children.
Yeah.
It was Doug, I think it was called, that was playing guitar. The other one was playing drums. I was playing guitar. The youngest was playing bass. The oldest daughter was playing keyboards, and there was Ella Willis who was singing. And we sang "Wonderful Tonight" by Eric Clapton, but, but with a twist because we did the first how do you say first verse normally. You know how it goes like slow,
Yeah.
and then I arranged this kind of thing that after the first verse, the the drummer would be like tap 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 tap, and then we sang it like a kind of punk rock version of it. I was jumping around the stage. Everybody was like, "What? A missionary doing this? It's never seen before." And this lady on the wheelchair, I think she was present there. She quite enjoyed it. So yeah, I think the same had a video of it, a videotape of it, but I don't know. Who knows where it went?
Yeah, when I was in that area, I spent a lot of time at their home. We actually, funny enough, spent New Year's Eve like right before I went home at their home, and it was a lot of fun. I
Yeah,
mean, they loved their instruments. I think Matthew is one of the sons, um, and then
I,
Joanne was the older daughter,
yeah, that's right.
and Hannah was the youngest. And then
I tried to date Joanne when I went back home, but it didn't
you
work.
did.
Yeah,
Joanne was
I
amazing.
never actually got to date her because of the distance, but
Yeah,
I was hoping to, but I was lucky to meet my wife, so
yeah.
that went well.
No,
Yeah, so
they're
I
great,
think
great
one
people.
one night I went to their home and cooked. I cooked at their home some Italian meal.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and
We had many fun meals and just moments being in their home. They were great.
yeah, and also the Payne family, President Payne was a sick president. Uh, I really liked going at their house. I think we did some family evening for the little. They had like three or four little daughters,
Yeah.
and they asked us to do a family evening for them. And me and Tom, we decided to reconstruct the vision of the tree of the life of the Book of Mormon.
Hmm.
So we went in the garden. We took, I think, a rod of some sort. We did all of it. We did the stream. We hung from a tree. I think there was this chocolate orange. Do you remember those? Yeah,
Yeah.
strawberry chocolate orange, and we did everything. We took the daughters. We blind them. made a night turn, and they were like texting me, and they were not knowing what they do. And I was like calling them here, calling them there. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Family home evenings at the Paynes were excellent.
Yeah. There were many other families there, but I think those are the ones that I spent the most time with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but again, I really enjoyed it. We had the car there, so we drove quite a bit. I think when when Elder Brownlow left, I was with Ellen Midgley,
Yeah.
which I really liked as well because Ellen Midgley was kind of a metalhead like me. So we had the same passion for metal. We were talking often about our music, and we drove to Peterhead to teach that lady, what was her name?
Sheila.
Sheila, that's right. Then she got baptized. I know you mentioned this.
Yeah. Jack Bryce and I found her.
That's right.
We were the ones that chapped into her door up in Fraserburgh.
Myself and Midgley were the ones standing in the ocean.
Okay, I knew it.
Baptized.
Oh my gosh!
I think a member of Peterhead baptized her.
Yeah.
And we were standing in the ocean, like we rolled up our trousers, our pants, and we went in the. But we got wet anyway, so.
Right.
But it was nice.
It's amazing.
A nice experience. Yeah.
That's so fun because I think we asked Tom about it and he couldn't remember if that was something. So I'm glad that you heard it and recollected that it was you and Rich. It's awesome.
Yeah. Then Tom also spoke about how we found the guy of the castle. What was his name? Brother Lovey.
Brother Lovey. Yeah.
But he was a famous country folk singer. He has made some records. I remember Tom searching for his records in a record store, and he found one, and he bought one. He probably don't remember this week. I mean, and it was a very nice guy. We tried to arrange for a joint teach with President Greens to come over to the castle, but we were never able to do that. We did one joint teach with a member of the Aberdeen Ward. Do you remember the Gypsy, the bald guy, which was kind of a poet? I don't remember his name.
I think I do, but I don't remember his name.
We went, picked him up with our car. We drove all the way to the castle, and on the way to the castle, he taught us many ghost stories about the castle. I liked it. Because there were many ghost stories linked to that castle. Robert told us a few. It was cool. I liked it.
Yeah.
And see what else. Oh, another funny story with Tom. So when Tom left, he left to be an AP. So we got the call from President Greens late in the evening that he should go quite in a hurry. I think the next day he had to pack and leave. There was very short notice. So I think I went to Tom and said, Tom, I really want to miss you, but there's one last thing we should do together. And we will never have a chance to do this. We should take the car and drive the car to Main Street, because I think it was Friday night, just to go about and see all the drunk people, all the ladies, and we will stay in the car. We're not going to go out, but just take. I think it was midnight or something like that. And we drove the car.
Friday night on Union Street was crazy. There was people everywhere. It was unreal.
At some point, I think we were forbidden to go there after a certain time. And I have another funny story to tell, but now that we talk about this, and this was actually with this guy over here, with Andre. So we were, I don't know why, we found ourselves walking in High Street, and I think at night, I think it was a holiday or something like this. So there was lots of people walking, and many of them were drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Andre, I want to see if you recollect this. So we were walking down the street, and we saw this group of young people coming towards us, and there was a couple of guys and three girls, I think, and they were all like dressed up like sailors. It was weird. I don't know why, but of course the girls had mini skirts, very non-existing skirts, let's say. And when they walked up to us, I think I don't know what happened. Like in a blink of an eye, one of this lady turned around, lift her skirt, and showed us her butt, her bare butt.
Oh my God.
And we were like both like this in shock, like flames in our eyes. I was like, oh man.
Jeez.
I think Elder Zinkovski was like grabbing my arm so hard. I think I was kind of ready with my hand, but I said, no, I should not do this. And we like fled away. I think that was.
It was probably like Halloween time, maybe, right?
I don't know if it was Halloween or something else. I don't remember, but I think it was plenty of people, drunk people, and we found, the best of the best.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah. So let's see what else. Before going to the end of the mission, I had some. Okay, another funny story. There was myself and Miji, and we were driving with the other elders from Aberdeen, which I think was Willis and the other guy that we mentioned earlier,
Cloud.
McLeod. That's right. And we went to the flat of the elders in Bridge of Dawn, which I don't remember who they were. And I think you, Andre, were there because we were in a threesome. So we drove there, and I think we found that the other couple of missionary was in their flat, and they were giving each other a haircut. And when I arrived in the car, I was driving. I honked the klaxon. So the missionaries went. Elder Lineker, that's right. Elder Lineker was there.
Yeah.
He went out of the window, and I said, I screamed, you are busted, and everybody understood you are bastard. Instead, I was just saying, innocently, you are busted because I found out this, He was like, what? Why? He started almost to cry. I was like, no, I'm sorry. And Adam usually was here in the car with me. He was laughing so hard. What? You said the B word? What?
Jeez. Goodness, that's funny.
Yeah. So it was nice serving in the Aberdeen and Bridge of Dawn areas in the state. I served, as I said, most of my mission in the Highlands. I remember us going out to lunch to Jimmy Chung's.
Jimmy Chung's.
Jimmy Chung's. That's right. All you can eat. Chinese all you can eat.
Yeah, it was the perfect meal right after district meeting.
We were obsessed with this. Yeah, I remember this. So what else? I remember the time when Elder Brown and Elder Zinkovski went to visit us in Elgin. Yeah. You omitted something though, Elder Zinkovski.
You what?
You omitted something in your recollection.
Yeah, just something, not everything.
I now will tell it. I now will tell this.
No, don't tell this story.
Yeah,
Yes, please tell the story.
No, hey, no. Don't tell the story.
There's nothing you can do about it. I'm gonna tell it.
Okay, Zach, we have to finish now. We've been...
You're going to stay. You're going to stay and face and actually be proud of what we did. So we were there together. It was myself, Dottavio, Brown, and Zinkovski. They went to stay with us for a few days, and so when we got together, we just relaxed a lot, and we went to I think a Blockbuster to get some movies. I think we did rent some movies, which I really didn't like, but it was just for the fun of doing this. We went to the church in Elgin to take the TV.
No way, did we? All right, go ahead. Probably there's some other story that you don't tell.
Our flat,
Okay.
I think we saw The Born Identity or something like this. And in the evening, we went out to some kind of disco pub or something like this. We would of course dress like normal, not the missionary attire, and we would go there. But it was really awkward because it was really early. Nobody was there. We were like the only one and just a couple of other girls. And I think he just started to dance like weirdly, as it does. But after a few minutes, I think we just walked away because there was nothing there. We didn't feel quite right, so walked home.
Well, that's not all the story. If you're telling the story, that's we didn't. I think we went to the cinema, did we?
Oh yeah, maybe we went to the cinema too.
We went to the cinema and we watched $1 million.
$1 million baby.
Yeah, $1 million baby.
Yeah,
the girl who's
Hilary Swank.
Yeah, that's right. So, but I really didn't like that movie. So
I didn't either. I didn't watch that later. It was not my favorite.
it's just for the sake of doing this. I don't know. We all needed a break, I guess, from the missionary life. So we did this kind of innocent escape. We did nothing like majorly wrong, you know. So I think it was fine. So one thing I learned from the beginning of my mission that I tried also every day to apply it was to have fun during my mission, because missionary work can be a hard work, you know, in the freezing cold, in wet, standing many hours or every day can be hard, you know, getting many doors slammed in your face, oppositions, not much success, not many baptisms. But I think I found out that if you want to enjoy yourself, you have to enjoy yourself. You have to have fun. So I always try to find my fun in all the small things that were, you know, at our hands. You know, like with Andre singing weird songs, marching in the streets, making fun of everybody. Whenever I was not able to do this, that's when I suffered the most, you know. So I guess I really tried to do this throughout my mission, and some of my companions, I would say most of my companions were kind of in the same groove as me. A few were really not. I'm not going to say their names, but it was fine. I mean, from each companion I really learned something, and with almost all of them, I did a really strong friendship. For Andrea, I said it was kind of special because it was like I was training him, and we could relate so much, and we had so much fun. We had really a great time. Um, and that's it. I just going to the end. I remember my last day in the mission field. was one of my saddest days. You know how, as a greenie, you dream of your last day on the mission. You hear stories about missionary going home, like doing crazy things and celebrating in crazy ways. I always, as a greenie, thought, "Oh, it's going to sooner or later, it's going to be my turn. I'm going to do something like this, and it's going to be the best day of my mission going home. Finally, after all this work." But when I got to it, I was miserable. Really, I remember that day I packed my stuff. Elder Mitchley drove me to the bus station in Aberdeen. He left me there. I went on the bus. I sat on the bus. The bus drove off. I waved goodbye to them, and I had this long trip because I think I don't know how many hours, 4 or 6 hours to go to Edinburgh. It was quite a long way,
Yeah.
and all by
I'm, am-
myself.
I'm amazed you didn't take a train.
I don't know why. I took the bus. I think there was a bus that was driving directly from Aberdeen to Edinburgh,
Hmm.
and I was by myself. I've seen, through the windows, saying goodbye to Aberdeen, which was a town that I lived in for more than a year. You know,
Yeah.
saying goodbye to my companions, seeing their faces, smiling, and going back, I was miserable. And then I got to the mission home finally. We climbed to the Pratt's Hill to do the closing, dedicatory prayer for the mission. I think Elder Rollo and Elder Bradley left earlier. I think they left one day earlier because of, I don't know, some visa problem or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just with Elder Cottrell, that was his name, Elder Cottrell, and the other guy, which I don't know. And we stayed in a bed and breakfast. I think that we had the interview. I had the interview with President Williams. That was the saddest interview that I had with him. I remember my interviews with President Williams were, I always looked up to them. It was a time for me to have somebody to tell everything. I could talk to him about everything, and he would always give me some very wise advices, and I really enjoyed talking to him. And during this last interview, I think I opened saying something like this. I said, President, you for you it's something that you are used to, doing the last interview to missionaries and sending them home. But for me, it's the first time, and I'm really, really sad. Please help me. So he tried to cheer me up, but it didn't really work. So, yep. The next day, I flew home, and I was greeted by my family and friends. I think in the evening, they set up this church activity for my returning home. I was wearing the kilt. I did some goofing around as I always do, and then the normal life started. But I was talking to Andre a few days ago how for me bringing back memories from my mission it's sometimes painful, hurtful because I had the best day of my life. Um, Fondest memories. I grew to love even the people, the country, the everything. That whenever I think of it, I really have. I feel homesick, and
Yep.
my wife is mad at me because she tells me that I never tell any story about my mission, or I never watch through my mission pictures. But I told her that I would start cry when I do this. When I see the pictures, when I think I never read the letters that President, reviewed at the end of the mission. I think I never read the diary that I kept. I think I also never read the T book, the testimony book,
Yeah.
because I know if I do this, especially when I'm on my own, I would start just feel bad and cry. I know that I should find a way to do this, to find joy as we are doing together right now, which I'm really glad, by the way. But yeah, maybe someday it will be the turn for me to tell my son. Hopefully, it will not be so hurtful for me. But yeah, so this is it.
Well, honestly, Michaela, I can feel that just like you. Like, I guarantee that every one of us that's listening to this and thinking about mission memories, we all feel homesick when we think about the mission because I mean, look at the relationships that we built, not only amongst the members and the people of Scotland, but like the brotherhood and sisterhood that we have of the S.E.M.
That's right.
You know, that's really a huge part of why Jack and I thought that this is something we needed to do, and we're so very fortunate that we all have time on this earth, and we get to choose how we use our time. And I love my wife, but she's questioned me sometimes on how much time I spend in these conversations. And I'm like, I love you so much, but you have no idea how much joy comes from reconnecting with our missionary brothers and sisters. Because,
That's right.
my gosh, it's one of those parts of life that you eloquently said it. It had an impact on all of our lives. And it truly doesn't matter where we've all gone in the world since then. We can all look back on that time with a level of love and fondness that, for you, Michaela, brings tears because it's that longing of being there and enjoying those times with each other. But more than anything, like, that has shaped who we are and forever has had an impact on where we will continue to project into the future. So thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. I really, I really do feel that.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you because, as you said, you are doing a really good, how can I say it, service to all of us. Because without this, I think we struggle to keep up. In fact, I wasn't talking to Andre for a few years, and I was telling Andre that I was watching the YouTube video of his interview, and while he was talking about me during that video, he sent me a message on Facebook.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we had a little chat that evening, and it was good. Yeah, I think the power of the experiences you live in a mission, the spiritual experiences, fun experiences, they will shape you. They will you grow. You coming back. You're coming back a different man. A different person. In fact, also the transition for me from missionary, from being a missionary to becoming just a normal member was quite hard. Sometimes he hits you quite hard, and I struggled a bit. I never questioned my faith. I always tried my best, even though I'm not very good, but I try my best to keep alive my testimony. And I'm grateful for all the blessings that the Lord has given me to serve a mission, to meet the people I met during my mission, and to now be here working at the temple, which is the house of the Lord, literally. So
Yeah.
it's a real privilege for me, and So thank you once again.
Yeah. Well, we again appreciate you making time, and the tour of Rome's temple wants me to. I mean, I long to be there, which I'm sure many, as they watch it, will feel the same way. One last question that I have for you. I know you mentioned your memories of President Vrains. Do you have any specific memories of Sister Vrains that come to mind when you think of her?
Yeah, I remember first time I saw her. Actually, first time I saw both of them, I thought they were like huge, very tall. I remember Sister Vrains. I think she shook my hands or something. She had these huge hands, like my hands were like looking like the hands of a baby, a toddler, in her hands, and so I felt like, but it felt like a safe, embrace, and so I trusted her right away. I remember her doing some uh, training for the missionaries during some conference when she pulled out her big nose. She rebuked all the missionaries on being clean, cleaning the flat, washing the dishes, washing the bed sheets. But I remember while I was with Andre, we looked at each other every time, and we would say, "But we do all of this. We don't need this. We actually can teach everybody else how to cook, proper food." I remember Sister Vince, lovingly, she was giving out this kind of recipe, and when I read this recipe, I was like, "Oh, wow, that's gross! I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna cook this. I can cook some fine pasta, some other 100 dishes." I remember during my mission, my grandma, I had my grandma writing down all her recipe and send them to me.
Oh
So
wow!
I was able to cook for the same family, as I told you earlier. I was able to cook for all the zone in Aberdeen during one of the Christmas. I,
Mm.
I went, I gathered all the zone, the elders and the sisters, and I cooked some pasta, yeah, oven baked pasta with
Wow!
the traditional recipe from my grandma.
I'm sure that was amazing.
So, yeah, Sister Greens. I remember another fun fact. Once we were walking down the streets, Andre and myself, and I think I have a picture here to show you. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe here. There you go. Remember this, Andre?
Yeah, well, we don't see the picture, but
This stretch limo.
Yeah. So we were walking down the street, and there was this stretch limo, and right next to it there was a Reliance Robin. You know, the three-wheel car, small
Yeah,
three-wheel car. So Andre took a picture of the limo and took a picture of the Reliance Robin because they were kind of, the opposite.
yeah.
And he wrote to President Riens and he said, "Okay, President Riens, this is your car, the stretch limo." The Ryan Robin, he wrote to Sister Riens, "This is Sister Riens' car."
That's actually pretty good. That fits both of them very well. That's hilarious.
So before saying goodbye, some other pictures. Sandra Wood, this guy
wow,
here, I don't know who he is.
That's awesome.
Let's see here. Oh, you can tell by this picture, but this is Ella McLeod here, and this is Ella Willis.
Uh-huh.
Some, I think they were white berries or something on the side of the streets.
Oh, the blackberries, yeah.
Yeah, this is Elder Midgley. He was crazy about the sunglasses. He had like 10 sunglasses, the weirdest sunglasses ever. And the funny thing is that even though they were so ugly, he looked good on them.
That's right.
That's Tom.
Ooh, and the Highland Coos. I love it.
So this is I think Helder Hout is called here.
Yeah, Trevin.
Yeah, that's right. We were playing some sick tunes, and this is me and Tom. And I think this was a sister in Aberdeen that was feeding us every week canned food, like a big bowl of canned food. It was
Sister Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell. It was like shepherd's pie or something like this.
Yeah, missionary pie.
Missionary pie. That's right. Missionary pie. And so we would fight over who's going to, make the dishes.
Yeah.
Because if I was doing it, I would give Tom more than a half of it. And he would be mad, and he would try to put some of his in my plate. Yeah.
Here you go. Here's a picture for you, Michaela. That's missionary pie right there.
That's right. So this blob, this thing that it was like, I remember going out of her flat, like feeling, so filled to the brim. I mean, I remember one night she called us and she phoned us and she said, "Okay, elders, I can't have you over for dinner because I think her kitchen oil oven broke down or something like this.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not able to cook you the missionary pie." But she said, you can come over. I will give you some money and you can go and have some fish and chips." And so we did. We were so happy that night. Oh, yeah, kind of fish and chips.
When I was there, this is me with Sister Mitchell and Elder Peacock.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
She had us on a rotation where she'd have missionary pie, she'd have a typical meal, and then the third week she'd give us the quid to go and get fish and chips. And so
that was good.
Missionary pie weeks were hard, but you eat what you eat because it's being given to you sometimes, right?
That's right. That's right. Many times in my mission, I found myself eating, even though I didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
But I had to. Yeah. So I think once we were with the Willis and Tom and don't remember who else. We went to this family. I think it was quite a wealthy family in Aberdeen. So they were like, dining in the dining room, like with all the plates, different glasses, different forks, and
Mm-hmm. Was it the Reedies?
That's right. That's the one.
Yeah.
And we were like kind of supposed to, follow the etiquette,
Right.
And it was a mess because I remember like food slipping out my plate, and I think Elder Willis didn't like something, and I think it was some kind of meat. He put this meat in the pocket of his companion. Man, it was weird.
I served with Elder Willis as well, and he would do that. We served on Orkney together for 4 weeks, and there was an instance where we were being fed, and he's like, "I'm full, but Elder Hewlett's still hungry." I couldn't speak for myself, and so I had to eat more food because he told the people that I was still hungry.
I've been in Orkney. So the last week on my mission, we went, myself and Michele, we went for a tour of all the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Went in Orkney. There was the Willis, and I don't remember who else.
It was probably right before I got there. Now that I think about it.
Yes, was the pig still there?
No, the pig had been given to the recent convert.
That's right.
But
because we were the ones who saved this poor pig. So we went in Orkney. We went to this guy to do this service. We washed the pig stable.
Yeah.
I was about to take this pig, the small pig. It was like this pig.
Right.
He was taking it from the leg and almost putting it into the grinder.
No.
Yeah. Because he said he's a smaller pig. He's not
right. The runt.
His brother are bigger. And he said, no, 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 wait, don't do it, don't do it. We'll take it, we'll take it. And so he said, okay, you can have it. And I'm going to kill it, so you can have it. And we brought this pig home. I remember this
I have a
little
picture of the pig. There's the pig right there.
It
was at the sister's house that they had given it to that had lots of cats, and I don't remember her name for the life of me, unfortunately. But
yeah,
she was a recent convert.
Yeah, I think she was living with lots of animals.
Yeah, she had a goat.
Willis didn't want to go to her house because he said that it was full of thick and filth, and this lady had like let's say excrement in her hair. So, but she was happy to take the pig. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Thurso. I think there was other Cotton Bettridge, and other Fisher there.
Yeah.
And then I went down to Ness, and then I went down to Inverness. Oh, so last story. Please forgive me. I have another last story about Inverness. So when Elder West and Elder Crossan were zone leaders in Inverness, we had like before the moves, you know how you get all together for the zone. And we decided, Elder Crossan is the craziest guy. We decided to build a Nessie, a miniature Nessie, you know.
I heard this story before.
So we did with balloons, with black, you know, with tape, we taped everything. There was this kind of monster that, you know, and they had bikes there. So we took out the tire, the rear tire of a bike, and we hung the Nessie with a fishing line to the tire of the bike, to the wheel of the bike. So in Elder Crossan thought, okay, we will let Nessie on the River Ness, you know, that is just by the chapel, you know.
Yeah.
So that all the people would look at it and see it, and then we would wind it back so fast that it looks like it will fly over the water. So we tried to do that. So this morning we went there. I think we were like six missionaries, and myself and Elder Clausen were the ones that needed to put Nessie on the water and wind it back. But the we didn't thought about the current. The current was so strong that ripped apart everything. So this Nessie went down the river. Other two missionaries were on the main bridge that was near the chapel, and it was quite a busy time of the day. So many people were there, and missionaries there. I think there was Elder West or somebody else. They're like, "Oh, look over there! There is Nessie!" And all the people started to look, take pictures, and even somebody called, and somebody called the police.
Oh my gosh!
How do you know what's inside a black bag floating in the river? Maybe it's a dead body.
Oh my god!
So Elder West called us, quick guys, run, because the police is coming. And we heard the police on the street passing by. We were just down the river. We packed everything. We ran to the car and we ran to the flat. We stayed there. We didn't move for a day. And we were so scared.
I had heard that story, so that's a legendary story. I think Elder Clausen told it to me later in the mission when he was his own leader in Dundee at that point. But I have heard that story. That's really funny.
Yeah, Elder Clausen was crazy, man. He had these crazy ideas. and I would follow him whatever he would tell him. Elder Campbell was there.
Okay.
And Elder Campbell, he was kind of a grumpy, He was like, "No, you shouldn't do this. Oh, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm gonna tell President." He said, "Screw you, Elder Campbell. Do whatever you want. We're gonna do that anyway." Poor Elder Campbell. I mean, he was a nice guy. He just tried to be, the only one who's sensible, who's mature, but didn't succeed in that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, Michaela and Andre, thank you so much again for coming and spending some time with us. And your memories, I'm certain, will be well received. Your name, Michaela, has been mentioned by many, many people who you had an influence on in the mission. And those that are listening, I'm sure, will be thrilled to both listen and also see what you've been up to. So I'm going to say thank you again. We love you. You are our brother in Scotland. And more than anything, please keep in touch, and vice versa. When that trip to Rome comes up, I promise I will be there and I will let you know. So
Yes, absolutely. Yourself and whoever watches this.
oh yeah,
No.
I think that's a great thing. We will certainly be able to disperse information and be able to keep them in touch with you so that they can send an email or however to get in touch. That would be amazing.
We can go out and have some proper pasta dishes. Typical Rome pasta dishes.
There you go. That sounds great. Well, again, we love you. Thank you again for your time tonight, and we will talk more soon. All right.
Thank you. Love you all.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Cheerio to
Bye.
you.